Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, missing teenage visitor to Jamaica found safe. A teenage visitor to Jamaica who was reported missing in St. Ann on Friday has been found safe. 14-year-old Shanoya Nicholson of Florida and Richmond St. Ann addresses was handed over to the police on Monday. Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, head of the St. Ann Police, gave an update on Monday.
She was handed over to the St. Ann's Way Police Station about 8:20 a.m. This morning, June 10, 2024, by a female citizen. She is in good physical condition. Arrangements are now being made for her to be handed over to family members.
Tufton orders probe into woman's death at the Falmouth Hospital. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he has ordered a high-level probe into the death of a woman who was admitted to the Falmouth Hospital in Trelawney. The probe follows complaints on social media from family members who have alleged negligence on the part of the hospital. In a media release on Monday evening, Tufton said that the investigation will be conducted through the Office of the Chief Medical Officer in conjunction with the Western Regional Health Authority. I am hoping that there will be a speedy conclusion as to what exactly happened, Tufton said. These are always very unfortunate, especially when you lose a loved one. Creates a lot of pain and suffering, and it is important that the system responds to provide absolute transparency on what may have happened, and the top draw the appropriate conclusions based on the evidence, based on the information, he added. He said a technical team from the ministry has been dispatched to the facility to initiate the investigation. Tufton also said the Regional Health Authority has contacted the family and will provide counseling as needed. The health minister urged the persons to await the investigations before drawing any conclusions. In the meantime, Tufton reminded that the Ministry of Health and Wellness has in place a complaint management system which allows users of Jamaica's health care facilities to report any concerns that they may have. The complaint management system is accessible at the level of each public health care facility or alternately online at the ministry's website at www.moh.gov.jm. Police probing fatal shooting of a devil in Clarendon. The Clarendon police are probing the killing of a man known only as a devil whose body was found with gunshot wounds on Sunday. The Exeter police say about 9 p.m., residents of Racecourse stumbled upon the body of a man near the square. The police were summoned, and upon arrival, the body was seen with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. Daughter insists she is telling truth amid a clash of narratives. Brittany Clark pushed back against the suggestion that she was a liar on Monday, as she insisted that there were no gunmen at her parents' house on the day her father, Keith Clark, was killed, and maintained that it was members of the security forces who shot him. A week after she first took the witness stand, Brittany was being cross-examined in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston by Valerie Nita Robertson KC, Peter Champagne KC, and the defense attorney Linton Gordon. 3 soldiers, Lance Corporals Greg Tinglin, Odell Buckley, and Private Arnold Henry, were implicated in Clark's death and are currently being tried for his murder. While questioning Brittany about the red stripe beer bottles captured in photographic evidence lying around the house, with 8 on a coffee table, 1 on a step, and others outside on the front of their perimeter wall, Brittany insisted that Christopher Dudos Coke, who was wanted for extradition to the United States at the time, was not at their house on the night of the deadly raid. After showing her the evidence on a screen, Champagne asked, "Do you still maintain that these beer bottles were not there on the day when you were leaving the house after Keith Clark was killed?" "Yes, sir, I do. Do I get an opportunity to explain now or no?" Champagne then charged, "And when you say so, are you being truthful?" To which she responded, "Yes, Mr. Champagne, yes, sir." "You're lying, you're lying," the attorney said before insisting that an explanation was not needed by the witness. "Oh, you don't want me to explain? Okay," she said. Champagne then asked her to count the bottles on the coffee table. In the photographic evidence, she mistakenly answered for while the photograph showed 8 bottles. The number led the defense attorney to suggest that perhaps 7 to 8 persons were around the table. Have you ever put your signature to a document stating that at known time the deceased, your father that is, hosted Christopher Coke and or 7 to 8 heavily armed gunmen? Champagne asked. No, that is absurd. I don't know what you're reading, and there's nothing like that. That is far from the truth, Brittany responded. He then asked the clerk of the court to hand a document bearing her signature to the witness. She did not directly respond with yes or no, but said his suggestion was far from the truth. Having seen the document, do you still maintain that is absurd? Yes or no? Simple, Champagne insisted. The witness responded with a mumble and then said, I was saying, as a Champagne interjected, can't hear you. The way how it was phrased, Brittany then said, before being interrupted by Champagne with, no, not the way, madam, not the way, not the way. It's a simple question, Miss Brittany Clark. Do you still maintain that it is absurd? Yes, the accusation is absurd. Yes, the accusation you are putting against my family is absurd. I am telling the truth, and the whole truth. God spared my life to be here today to tell the truth about what occurred. And I'm here doing what needs to be done, speaking the truth, she responded. The witness was again asked for the exact spot where she was when her father was shot, whether she was in the master bedroom's bathroom or the bedroom itself. She said that she was in the bedroom and witnessed her father being shot by members of the security forces. As he continued the cross-examination, Champagne asked Brittany if she saw her father with a licensed firearm during the May 2010 incident, to which she responded in the affirmative. He then asked whether he had asked her mother to go back into the bathroom and close the door. She agreed, but it took a while to clearly state where she saw him with the firearm before that and after her father's instructions to her mother. Brittany also agreed that she went into the bathroom with her mother and closed the door, but further in the proceedings said she saw her father being shot. Linton Gordon, who is representing Henry, continued the cross-examination, suggesting to the witness that her father was shot elsewhere in the room from where she described. Spotlighting another photograph of the master bedroom, Gordon asked how her father was positioned when he was shot and whether she was indeed in the room or the bathroom at that time, when she stated that the security forces stormed into the room. He was at the window descending from atop the closet. He was facing the window coming down, she said. I am suggesting to you, ma'am, that your father was not at the window when he was shot, and I am further suggesting to you that because he was not shot at the window, that's why the window is not broken. I'm suggesting to you that you never saw where your father was when he got shot, Gordon responded. Yes, sir, he was at the window when he was shot. I saw him at the window. I certainly did, sir. Unfortunately, I was made to witness that. You weren't there, so you can't tell, the witness fired back. Also brought into evidence during the cross-examination was the photograph and the burnt mark on the wall of a bomb which would have exploded in the room and affected all occupants at the time before the security forces entered. The defense also charged that at the time of the incident, the house did not have a front gate or a massive wall from the road which gave easy access to the road should gunmen want to escape easily. The defense, however, is contending that Coke and a group of gunmen were in the basement of the Clark's home on the night and had fired at the security forces before escaping in bushes at the back of the premises. Clark, a 63-year-old chartered accountant at the time, was shot 21 times during the raid at his home on May 27, 2010. Nita Robertson represents Tinglin, while Champagne represents Buckley and Gordon represents Henry. Cabbies to extend the protest despite a modest impact. Despite the moderate impact observed on Monday, as hundreds of taxi operators across the island withdrew their services, citing grievances with the island traffic authorities, demerit points system, and other regulatory issues, one sector leader has announced the plans for the protest to persist for a week. I contacted the organizers and they told me that they will be going tomorrow again with a withdrawal of service. I believe they should continue, Lorraine Oscar Finnekin, president of the All Voice Transportation Group, told the news yesterday. Commuters across the island were left stranded on Monday as the transport operators objected to a move by the ITA to suspend the driver's license of those who have accumulated 10 demerit points as a result of traffic violations as per the Road Traffic Act, which took effect in January 2023. The taxi operators are advocating for amendment to the demerit system, calling for leniency on offenses such as a failure to wear seatbelts and illegal parking. Additionally, they have raised concerns about what they deemed to be excessive fines, such as that for using a cell phone while operating a vehicle. In Portland, drivers who ply the Port Antonio to Hector's River and the Buff Bay to Port Antonio routes, with the exception of a few, parked their vehicles from as early as 6 a.m. The disruption has not been limited to transportation alone, as several schools in Clarendon had to shift to virtual classes to accommodate affected students. Similar disruptions were observed in various regions, including St. Mary, St. Elizabeth, and Kingston and St. Andrew. Despite the withdrawal not being universally supported by taxi associations, including the Edgerton-Newman-led Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, Finnegan asserts that all 275 members of his organization participated in the protest. Finnegan said plans for the protest action started 2 weeks ago and he had initially discouraged it. However, he said the failure of consultations with relevant authorities, including the ITA, the Transport Steering Committee, the Transport Authority, and the head of the police's public safety and the traffic enforcement branch to obtain consensus, led to the necessity of such a drastic action. According to him, the transport operators' concerns were brushed aside and they were told to use the court system to address the issues raised about the sections of the Road Traffic Act. When we mentioned the fine and the demerit points for effective headlamp and the tail light, for which they don't give warning, we have no control over a bulb being blown, they were told that if they were servicing their vehicles, that wouldn't happen. And then another response that hurt is that we were told that we must remember that we are very indisciplined and we are operating illegally, he said. While noting the limited impact of the service withdrawal on the sector, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz urged the operators to allow good sense to prevail, saying that their concerns will be addressed in a meeting today. However, Finnegan said the transport operators are wary of the promises. Separate and apart from our confidence in the commitment of the Transport Minister, the sector on a whole is very skeptical based on the number of promises that were made before and were not fulfilled, he told the news. Vaz, in the meantime, has described the action as premature and unnecessary. He also suggested that the protests were politically motivated. For those who are using it for political reasons, I ask you to desist, especially in relation to the roadblocks that have been mounted using trees and stones and other things to interrupt the flow of ordinary law-abiding citizens. It is totally unnecessary, and I call on you to desist and allow the process of communication, collaboration, and consensus, which is how I operate, to continue, and we will get the desired results, he said. The Transport Minister also stressed the importance of dialogue to address systematic issues in the sector. He noted that balancing the need for law and order on the roads with the concerns of operators is crucial to mitigating the negative impacts of any prolonged withdrawal of service. I am making an appeal to all those drivers who are taking part, who are losing income and causing great inconvenience to commuters, to get back on the job and allow the process to work, he said. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.